These days, it seems like everyone is jumping on the genetic testing bandwagon. In fact, 12 million people tested their DNA in 2017. The question is, can an at-home DNA test find the perfect diet for you? The premise sounds easy enough. You swab your cheek, prick your finger, and send your samples in the mail. Afterward, you find out what you should and shouldn't eat. But does science back up these tests' hefty claims? Joining us for our DNA diet debate is Dr. Julie Chen, the Chief Clinical Officer at Vitagene, and her opposition, Dr. Carroll, a professor of pediatrics at Indiana University School of Medicine and the author of The Bad Food Bible. So, Dr. Chen, I want to start with you, because you do believe that DNA can help people find the right diet and, in fact, work for a company that provides the service.
Absolutely. Genes can tell you what diseases you have higher chance of getting, can tell you how you metabolize certain foods well or not well. And so instead of doing a random diet, and there's so many out there, you actually have information that can help you to make an educated decision.
So, Dr. Chen, we appreciate your joining us, and I think this is a really timely debate because there was a very recent study that got a lot of press. It was published in JAMA, and it came out of Stanford University, and they followed 600 overweight adults and did 3 genetic tests for specific polymorphisms that might predict diet, and then put half of them on healthy low-fat and another half on healthy low-carb diet, followed them out to see if the genetic predictors made any difference, and they actually found no difference whatsoever in terms of DNA testing. So I'm curious, in light of those results, how you would interpret those.
So I'm going to clarify, that study actually is not practical and can't be used because even the scientists agree that when they first set up the study, they only had the 3 genes, but by the time they finished the study, there were a lot more genes that they should have looked at that they did not know about back 3 years when they started the study. So it's a non-practical use of the knowledge that we have right now because they cherry-pick 3 genes out of hundreds of genes that regulate weight loss, and then they're trying to say it doesn't work, but it's the same thing as saying, like, okay, there's 100 parts that make a car run, but I'm gonna pick just the steering wheel, the engine, and the transmission, put it on a frame of a car, and if that doesn't run, I'm saying these 3 don't matter. But they do, you just are missing 97 pieces.
I see a lot of people nodding their heads. Dr. Carroll, you feel differently.
Yeah, it's not that they cherry-picked 3 genes. They were the 3 best genes that they could look at initially, and they have to do with insulin resistance. And you're absolutely correct. When they did a very well-designed randomized controlled trial, they did not see that this made any difference. Unfortunately, there's no evidence to think that the other 97 or however many more we have would make a difference. There are no good studies in human beings that show that any of this works or that it could help us predict which diet will be better for any one person.
Is there evidence that these DNA diets are working? I mean, what?
So what's interesting is that we actually initially worked with weight loss surgeons, and we actually had a study with patients where they did the regular supplements after the surgery, and then they did the program with Vitagene, and then we actually saw improvement in blood sugar levels compared to people with conventional weight loss surgery with just the regular program. And that's just the beginning. I mean, we're looking at the fact, I'm not saying, I applaud these guys at Stanford for doing that study. It's amazing. You should start somewhere. And there are early studies that demonstrate that this is a possibility. And on top of that, if we don't start somewhere and we actually have a license to look at the scientific data, we want to push forward science so that there is more research. That's the whole point, is that we have to start somewhere and keep going.
So I think your point is really well taken, that we have to start somewhere, and this Stanford study was a start, but I guess your company is a for-profit company, correct?
Correct.
So you're already selling this service to your consumers.
Based on the information seen in studies that are already positive, and based on the genetics that are already seen to be pertinent.